Stop what you're doing. This just changed the AFC landscape. Tyreek Hill is out for the season. Big words, I know, but that's exactly what the reports are saying, and today I'm breaking down what this means for the Dolphins, the AFC, fantasy football, and every bet you were thinking about. I'll walk you through the injury, the immediate roster and scheme adjustments Miami has to make, how their playoff math shifts, and why this could ripple across the whole league, all in one clear, no fluff breakdown. Let's get into it. First, the injury itself. Early reports confirm Tyreek Hill suffered a major knee injury late in the Dolphins game, and medical updates indicate ligament damage that will sideline him for the remainder of the season. Translation, surgery, and a lengthy rehab. For a player whose whole profile is built on elite speed and suddenness, losing a season like this is massive. Tyreek isn't just the Dolphins' top receiver. He's the gravitational pull that opens everything else up in Mike McDaniel's offense. Take him away, and the whole blueprint changes overnight. So what happens first this week? Practically speaking, Miami has to retool fast. Coaches will pivot from an offense built around stretching defenses vertically to one that emphasizes quicker reads, more intermediate passing, and a heavier dose of the run game. That means Tua Tagovailoa's reads will need to be faster, the offensive line's run blocking must improve, and guys like Jalen Waddle and tight ends will need to make defenses pay in the short and intermediate areas. Expect more jet motions, more sweeps, and more screen work. Anything that forces defenses to stay honest without the vertical threat of Hill. Let's break down the on-field schematic effects. With Tyreek, safeties were forced to play off the line and allocate resources to deep coverage. That created one-on-one matchups for Waddle and clean lanes for the run game. Now, safeties can cheat up. Coverages will get tighter in the intermediate zones. Blitz packages become more feasible. In practice, more pressure on Tua, fewer explosive plays, and defenses can funnel the Dolphins into a half-court game where Miami is less comfortable. Who steps up? Immediately, the spotlight falls on Jalen Waddle. He's played elite football and will be the natural primary target. But Waddle's skill set is complementary. Quickness, separator ability underneath, and yards after catch. He's not the true deep threat equal of Tyreek. That means tight ends like Durham Smythe or new-look additions, maybe someone like Hunter Long if activated, and running backs in the receiving game must earn more targets. The coaching staff will also need to trust slot and perimeter targets to make contested catches and convert third downs. In other words, distribution becomes the name of the game, not just vertical explosion. Now, let's look at the playoff picture. Before the injury, Miami was a plausible Super Bowl contender. Speed, coaching, and a balanced record. Remove Hill, and their ceiling drops. Will they still make the playoffs? Possibly, but their probability declines. They're no longer the one game changed by a Hill play team. They're now vulnerable to grinded-out defenses in the AFC. The Bills, Chiefs, Ravens, and Bengals all now realistically gain advantage. Teams that can pressure the quarterback and win in the trenches. The Dolphins' path to a division title or high seed now depends heavily on the defense stepping up. Personnel like Xavier Howard, Jalen Ramsey, and Christian Wilkins have to carry more weight. If Miami's defense can generate turnovers, create short fields, and keep opponents in check, the damage is manageable. But if the defense is average, this quickly becomes a single elimination season in many matchups. Put bluntly, Tyreek's absence transforms Miami from an elite upside team into one that needs consistency and fewer mistakes to stay in contention. Let's talk numbers for a moment. Pre-injury, Tyreek was on pace to finish among the league leaders in yards per route run and explosive plays. Those are not easily replaced. Even if Jalen Waddle doubles his targets, Waddle's yards per target and deep threat conversion rate are not the same. Expect team explosiveness metrics, yards per play, big play percentage, to trend down at least through the next 4 to 6 weeks while the offense adjusts. What about the bench and potential roster moves? Miami could look to the market, whether that's calling up a practice squad receiver with a specific skill or signing a veteran who can play the intermediate game. Don't expect a Tyreek clone to appeal overnight. The front office might also lean heavier on the run, more Jonathan Taylor carries, more creative uses for him in pass protection and on screens. If Taylor remains healthy, the run game can keep defenses honest and produce manageable short fields. Fantasy and betting implications are immediate and painful for some of you. Tyreek owners are out a season. Start working trade negotiations ASAP if you can. Jalen Waddle's value spikes, as does any reliable tight end and running back receiving role. For DFS and weekly lineups, Miami's offensive ceiling is lower. Fewer WR boom weeks, fewer long TDs. On the betting front, lines involving the Dolphins will move. Expect their spreads to tighten, they won't be as favored, and totals to slide down as the league adjusts for fewer vertical shots. Season-long props for Tua, Miami's team scoring props, and over-underlines for Tyreek will all be revisited. How about historical comparisons? We've seen teams absorb major losses before. Chargers losing Keenan Allen in a season, Chiefs without Kelsey for periods, etc. The difference here is twofold: timing and player archetype. Tyreek's unique explosive ability is a hard-to-replace archetype. Teams can adapt in other ways, but they rarely replace the exact dynamic. Also, the timing in the season matters. A long-term injury at Week 6 leaves more time to adjust than in mid-season or playoff time. Miami has to act decisively now. Let's do a quick what-if for the other AFC teams. The Chiefs, this is a relative benefit. Less worry about Miami spoiling a seed. The Bills and Bengals, they may now be favorites in head-to-heads that were once coin flips. The Ravens and Browns, still the matchup nightmares they always are. In short, the conference becomes marginally more chaotic in a way that benefits teams built on power and pressure more than speed. But don't write Miami off entirely. Mike McDaniel is a creative, adaptable coach. I expect schematic wrinkles, pre-snap motion to create mismatches, quick snap tempo to exploit defensive confusion, and targeted use of play action to loosen linebackers. Those adjustments can produce wins, especially if Tua maintains accuracy and the defense produces turnovers. This won't be an overnight collapse so much as a longer, more grinding season. From a human perspective, injuries like this are a reminder of how fragile greatness is. Tyreek is not just a player, he's a personality, a team leader, someone who brings intangible energy. That locker room void matters. The team needs leaders to step up vocally and on the field, and it needs small wins early to stabilize morale. Winning the next 2 or 3 games would be massive from an emotional standpoint. Finally, let's cover potential longer-term outcomes. Can Tyreek come back the same? Modern ACL and knee rehab has made miracles common, but speed-based players are always a question mark. There's reasonable optimism.
Drop your comments below and stay tuned with me.